Today on Ag Etc., meet Scott Stebner from the Kansas Beef Council. He's involved with the Beef Checkoff to help provide answers to consumers about the truth behind beef production. On That's My Farm, we meet Thomas Parsons, a K-State student that helps his family with their cow-calf operation in southeastern Cowley County. Then Ben Cox with the American Sheep Industry Association explains how sheep farmers have been affected by the recently imposed tariffs. Lynn Jen-tine with the Land Trust of Kansas talks about conservation easements and how landowners can get involved. Then learn how the rising demand for high-quality beef is affecting the market. It's all coming up on Ag Etc. Stay tuned.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com. Watch Ag AM in Kansas online at agaminkansas.com.
Kim Mannering with Hardy Insurance. Today we will talk about umbrella coverage.
Did you know that if you're held liable in any type of accident, the judgment can claim your assets? Please give me a call so we can discuss. 316-945-6733.
Join us for the third annual Early Bird Sale at Gardner Angus Ranch, Monday, January 27th at 10 a.m. Up for sale are 225 Angus bulls and 120 Gardner-influenced AI-bred commercial Angus heifers. The catalog is available at GardnerAngus.com. You can watch and bid online at liveauctions.tv. Don't just buy a breed, buy a brand. At Gardner Angus Ranch's Early Bird Bull Sale, January 27th, Ashland, Kansas.
Kansans have a new choice for Medicare supplement insurance plans. With Medicare supplement insurance plans from Kansas Farm Bureau, you have access to 4 levels of coverage, affordable rates, and service from an organization that served Kansans for more than 100 years. For more information on Kansas Farm Bureau Medicare supplement plans, including rates and to apply, visit kfbhealthplans.com.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center. Your stem cells, your health, your life.
Well, my name is Scott Stebner. I'm the Director of Communications for the Kansas Beef Council. Formerly, I was a researcher at Kansas State University and an agricultural photographer, where I got involved specifically in telling the stories of our Kansas producers in an artistic way to the art community through photography and video. But for the last 3 years, I've had the incredible opportunity to work for our beef producers of Kansas as part of the Beef Checkoff, once again where I am the Director of Communications. Right now we live in an age where our consumers are not just wanting more information about how their food is produced, they're demanding it. They have the wealth of really all the information that's ever existed at their fingertips with a Google search, unfortunately with a Netflix documentary and a bunch of other things. So now, more than ever, is a vital time for everyone possible to be accurately sharing the information of how their beef is produced. On a beef checkoff standpoint, we want to focus on 3 pillars: people, the people behind it, from the cow-calf operation to the feed yard to the processor. Everyone is part of that supply chain, trying to tell their stories of how they're doing a great job producing the world's safest, most sustainable, tastiest, delicious product, and that is beef. To the protein, that is the nutrition message, and we have incredible people on staff like Abby Hadari, our Director of Nutrition, who leads those outreaches up, and also the taste. So we want to make sure that people are finding good ways, easy ways for these millennial moms and these Gen Zers to succeed with beef. So all those efforts together in the last 3 years, we've generated over 30 million digital impressions, and this year we're over 12 million impressions and 1.3 million videos, with videos produced by our team at Kansas Beef Council. The Kansas Beef Council, we are governed by a board of Kansas producers and people involved in the beef community, but we're also part of this larger network that helps really position Beef It's What's Her Dinner, that iconic brand name that has really had a resurgence in the last few years, thanks to new marketing campaigns and stuff like that. And we're part of the Federation of State Beef Councils, and it's really a way that we can collaborate and really do our best to keep positively impacting beef demand, which has been steadily increasing. We have a host of videos. Our latest one is our response to alternative proteins based on consumer research. The research says consumers do not want us disparaging products. They're also beef eaters. They want us owning our strengths. And so we've come out with a heavily researched response on our One Simple Ingredient campaign. And you can find that at kansasbeef.org, on our Facebook page with Kansas Beef, or on our YouTube as well. We have many different avenues that are always in front of consumers 24/7.
I had this horse. It was a good horse, except for when the wind was blowing above 30 miles an hour. Wind was blowing about 35, 40, and I saddled him up and rode him out to the end of the lane, and I thought, well, he's doing pretty good. And about 6 jumps later, I was laying on the ground and thinking, boy, my shoulders sure hurt. I kept waiting, and it didn't get better, and so I went to orthopedic surgeon, and that showed that I had torn rotator cuff. And said, well, I have to do surgery. I farm and ranch by myself. This is not going to work out very well. I'd been sleeping in my recliner for about 2.5 years because it hurt too much to sleep in bed on my side. I'd heard about Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center on the radio. Gotten down there at 8 o'clock in the morning, and by 11:30 the procedure was all over. They just took some fat out of my side here and spun that down for about 45 minutes and then injected it in my shoulders, and I was on my way. It's something you don't hear about, but I thought it was worth a try, and I'm really pleased. It's really worked out well for me.
Join us for the 3rd annual Early Bird Sale at Gardner Angus Ranch, Monday, January 27th at 10 a.m. Up for sale are 225 Angus bulls and 120 Gardner-influenced AI-bred commercial Angus heifers. The catalog is available at GardnerAngus.com. You can watch and bid online at liveauctions.tv. Don't just buy a breed, buy a brand. At Gardner Angus Ranch's Early Bird Bull Sale, January 27th, Ashland, Kansas.
Kansas Corn reminds you that E15 fuel is the right choice for every kind of driver. For the car enthusiast, E15 has higher octane. For the thrifty driver, E15 is priced lower than regular unleaded. For the nature lover, E15 provides cleaner air. For the shopper who buys local, E15 has more ethanol from our Kansas corn farms. Choose E15 for a higher octane, lower price, cleaner American fuel. Message from the Kansas Corn Commission. Learn more at kscorn.com.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture. To join today or for more information, go to kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Hi, this is Kyle Bauer. On That's My Farm, I get an opportunity to visit with Thomas Parsons today. Thomas, you're from a ranch in south central Kansas, maybe a southeast Kansas. You tell us where you're at.
Yes, sir. So we're in southeastern Cowley County, around Dexter, Kansas, and I come off of a cow-calf operation, Parsons Ranch.
So that is the Flint Hills in that area?
Yes, so we don't really have any farm ground directly in our area. Once you get up into Dexter, there's some bottom ground, but most of it's in the central and western part of Cowley County.
So tell me about your cattle operation there at Dexter.
So we run about 150 head of spring calving cows, and we're a closed herd, so we have Angus, and we'll breed those to Hereford bulls, and then we like to take those and save those F1 crosses as our heifers, and then we'll breed those back onto Angus, and then we'll in the fall, we'll sell our heaviest calves to a feedlot in western Kansas, and then we'll background our cuts throughout the winter and sell them around the beginning of February.
So do you graze grass year-round then?
Yes. Yeah, we graze grass year-round, just continually.
So is that all blue stem, or do you have other grasses besides blue stem?
So all our pasture ground that most of the cows are on is blue stem. However, on our home place, we have some fescue, and we rotationally graze that. And we'll also, when we background our cattle in the fall and through the first of the year, we'll graze those on fescue as we feed them.
Depending on where you were and how you were trying to put up feed, it was difficult this year. There was a small window to get hay put up. Were you able to get yours up?
Yes, so we actually hit about the only dry week we had for the summer. We hire our prairie hay put up, so the custom cutters were able to get in there and get that done properly, and then we put our fescue up in little square bales It's just more convenient for feeding around the lot, especially in the winter with the Cowley background. And we got everything up, no rain, and it worked out very perfectly.
How do you handle the little squares? Is that done mechanically or by hand?
So we actually do that by hand. That's something we're looking at, is trying to find a more mechanical way to do it, because labor is definitely hard to come by. But we have the bales come directly off the baler onto a flat trailer, and then we take that to the barn and unload it.
Tell us about ownership and labor there at the ranch. How many people are involved in the ranch total?
So as far as the ranch goes, it's my mom, dad, and I. There's just 3 of us. I'm currently an Ag Econ student at K-State, and I'm a junior here with a minor in animal sciences. So it keeps me pretty busy, but I try to go home and help as much as possible. But other than that, my mom and dad are able to manage and do all the labor when I'm not able to help.
When do you calve?
So we calve in the spring. We calve later February. We try to push that up a little bit, just help with the weather and everything.
You know, as you went north in the state this year, the weather got to be quite an issue with spring calving. Tell us about it at Dexter.
So it wasn't too bad of a year this year. We got a little bit of a snow, but relatively not a whole lot. I would say on average it was a typical year. The past 3 years, it seems like, rather than snow, we've been getting a lot of ice. So that can definitely make things a little bit tricky. But, I mean, personally, we would definitely rather have the snow with getting to the pastures and everything. But it was a relatively normal year, I would say.
We're visiting with Thomas Parsons. He's with Parsons Ranch at Dexter, Kansas. This is Kyle Bauer reporting.
Sure Crop Fertilizers was started by my father, Don Sherman, and my mother, Shirley Sherman. Family business that started in the 80s. We predominantly focus on plant nutrients and what we can do to give growers better responses with the fertilizer dollars that they do, and what we can do to make those things work better for the grower. We're based out of Seneca, Kansas. We work with growers in their soil analysis to figure out what they need, and then we can put those in a blend that gives them the best results, and so that we can deliver that direct to their farm, so that they have those nutrients where they need them, when they need them, and so that they can apply them in a manner that's very efficient to them and works well in their planting systems and what they're doing. Sure Crop Fertilizers has been around for a long time. We always say we're big enough to take care of everything you need, but we're small enough to do it quickly. You can get a hold of us at 1-800-635-4743. Our website is surecropfertilizers.com, and you can always email me at Corey@surecropfertilizers.com, and with any questions you have, we'll be glad to answer it and work with you.
Kansans have a new choice for Medicare supplement insurance plans. With Medicare supplement insurance plans from Kansas Farm Bureau, you have access to 4 levels of coverage, affordable rates, and service from an organization that served Kansans for more than 100 years. For more information on Kansas Farm Bureau Medicare supplement plans, including rates and to apply, visit kfbhealthplans.com.
Kim Mannering with Hardy Insurance. Today we will talk about umbrella coverage.
Did you know that if you're held liable in any type of accident, the judgment can claim your assets? Please give me a call so we can discuss. 316-945-6733.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Wheat. Learn more at rediscoverwheat.org.
Hi, this is Kyle Bauer visiting with Ben Cox. He's a sheep producer from San Angelo, Texas, but he's the president of the American sheep industry. Benny, we've seen a lot of export things happen throughout the industry since the Trump administration. Has that at all, that sort of thing, been affecting the sheep industry?
Oh yeah, the China dispute's been a big problem here as of late. We've actually, since September before last, they imposed 10% tariffs when they started the this China dispute, if you will. And we have lost over 80% in value of our raw wool. China was our biggest destination for exported raw wool. And our pelts have taken a big hit too, lost over 70% in value of those. Actually, a lot of these pelts at the slaughter level have been worth a lot of times in excess of $10, and now a lot of them they charge to dispose of them. So you can see how that's cost our industry. It's not just that they imposed the 10% tariff. There was also thought that they were going to do another, make it 25%. Now that hadn't happened yet, but they boycotted our wool, and so it's kind of dead in the water. But the Trump administration, have allowed monies to counteract losses, in the farming, so, in the industries. And we actually have benefited by $1.5 million to develop new export opportunities and research, and that was a big win for us. Actually, the Trump administration has done more for us than the past two administrations together.
My inclination is that the sheep and lamb industry is on an upswing and fairly healthy.
We do, I run the largest sheep and goat auction in the nation, there in San Angelo, Texas. We do cattle as well. I can assure you that the sheep and goat industries by far, well, I'll put it like this: we benefit from a part of the world that raise a lot of sheep and goats, and I'm sure glad in cases like this when the cattle industry being such that it is.
Is part of the high demand because of the ethnicity that's changing in the United States, or is it exports, or is everybody just discovering they like lamb?
There's been a lot of advances in the ethnic market. We actually are an ethnic-driven market now in Texas, and as you go to the Northeast, that's what you see. A real high percentage of our sheep numbers are in the West and Northwest, and that's where lots of your wool sheep are. Many of the other parts of the world, or the country, has converted over to a hair sheep, which the fibers of no value, and it's just a meat-driven market. And the consumption by the Middle Eastern people, the Muslim groups, and that have helped advance the consumption of lamb and goat, actually.
And for the foreseeable future, do you just continue to see that uptrend?
Oh yeah, I think that market will be there, will continue to be there. Of course, as you leave Texas and go to the Northeast, most all that country is privately owned lands. Where the wool sheep are in the West that I was referring to, lots of those sheep, sometime or another in the year, will be on BLM land, or, government-owned lands. And we're confronted, the activist groups that don't, that are against animal agriculture has been a big issue for us. American sheep industry's legislative, let's say, battles. We continue to work hard to counteract a lot of those claims and lawsuits and whatnot. I mean, as an organization, that's probably the best. That's the legislative fights or efforts by the American sheep industry is the best thing that we have to offer our members.
We're visiting with Ben Cox. He's from San Angelo, Texas. He's with the American sheep industry. This is Kyle Bauer reporting.
Okay, looks like it's time for our tour. Welcome to the Fort Wallace Museum. Here at the museum, you're going to find some really interesting stuff, like our replica stagecoach from the Butterfield Overland Dispatch. We've got facades from the fort buildings. We've got an 1870s flag. There's a plesiosaur that was discovered locally. We've got the Ray pump organ collection. We're a little bitty place with a great big story, and we'd love to have you.
Join us for the third annual Early Bird Sale at Gardner Angus Ranch, Monday, January 27th at 10 a.m. Up for sale are 225 Angus bulls and 120 Gardner-influenced AI-bred commercial Angus heifers. The catalog is available at GardnerAngus.com. You can watch and bid online at liveauctions.tv. Don't just buy a breed, buy a brand. At Gardner Angus Ranch's Early Bird Bull Sale, January 27th, Ashland, Kansas.
The Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan is rediscovering ways to get improved varieties and new genetics in the hands of farmers faster. Grower-led and Checkoff-funded research initiatives are bringing about positive change. This grassroots leadership provides a strong voice in Topeka and Washington, D.C. Now is the time to partner with Kansas Wheat in moving wheat forward. Kansas Wheat Commission and Kansas Association of Wheat Growers. Farmers investing in their future and yours. Log on to rediscoverwheat.org.
This segment brought to you by Santa Fe Trail Meats in Overbrook. Let us help feed your family.
Ranchland Trust of Kansas is an affiliate of the Kansas Livestock Association, and it began in 2003. And we're a small land trust, but we have 3 primary land trusts in Kansas, and we're all wonderful partners. So we're delighted to be one of those agencies that are working for conservation in Kansas. We're very excited. Ranchland Trust of Kansas, and along with many other incredible partners in Kansas, are working on a new conservation easement in the Red Hills of Kansas. It's 9,000 acres, the Ballard Ranch, and we were recently awarded the first Acres for America grant delivered by the National Fish and Wildlife Foundation. So it was the final piece. These other local partners, we couldn't do it without them. It's NRCS, Kansas Department of Wildlife and Parks, and some guidance from the Nature Conservancy. And all together, and with this final piece from the DFWIF, it's allowed us to bring this project to a launch. So it'll still take a few years for it to actually come to fruition, but the pieces have been put in place, and we're just so excited and grateful for everybody coming together to make it happen. You know, here in Kansas, we take our view sheds and our conservation value and wildlife habitat, sometimes kind of take it for granted. We have such a beautiful area that it's always been there. And for a while back, for 2 decades, Kansas lost 3 acres an hour to agricultural lands lost to development. And so what we're doing is kind of getting ahead of that. And there's a place for everything. We need energy, we need homes, we need businesses. We're just working to make sure that there's always a space for our agricultural and our wildlife habitat and all the water quality that goes with those things, and just making a place for conservation. We have a special niche in understanding agriculture and the needs of the ranchers. KLA makes it possible for us to do our work. The great ranchers, they are inherently excellent conservationists. The two are not mutually exclusive. So knowing that they're just great people to go to for easements, because it's part of their working daily operations to maintain that conservation value. So as an agricultural land trust, we can use our resources to kind of connect and build those relationships with people who might want to voluntarily put their land in easement. They can check us out on our website, which is ranchlandtrustofkansas.org, or give us a call. They can find our number on the web, and they can learn more. There's a lot of great information on the process of how it goes, if they qualify for an easement, and it's a very personal and unique experience. People do it for different reasons. They'll do it because they're 3rd, 4th generation and they want to make sure the land's always agriculturally used. They recognize there's a great conservation value with wildlife, and that's important to them. So it's always important to that unique owner. So we have a conversation with them and see if this is something they want to do.
What if U.S. soybean meal were more than a commodity? If seed companies and the soybean checkoff built a better variety? That future is here. The time is now. To meet end-user demands, the soybean checkoff is investing in the compositional quality of soybeans, including meal. A message from the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff. Progress powered by Kansas farmers.
My name's Karen Cope, and I have multiple sclerosis. When you have MS, on the outside you look great, but you know what's really going on in the inside is chronic body pain, chronic fatigue. And there's lots of days that I'd wake up and say, oh, please God, help me get through this day. You know, after stem cells, Chloe, my youngest daughter, she was asked by my father-in-law, how's your mom doing? And Chloe said, Grandpa, I've never had a mom like this before, because she was 8 when I was diagnosed, and she really had no other memory of me but being sick. It's really the simple things that we do as a family, like play cards and to be able to win at cards. They all laugh because I used to repeat myself and say, what hand are we on? Where are we at? And it's just been really a true blessing from God, and we're really thankful.
The Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan is rediscovering ways to get improved varieties and new genetics in the hands of farmers faster. Grower-led and Checkoff-funded research initiatives are bringing about positive change. This grassroots leadership provides a strong voice in Topeka and Washington, D.C. Now is the time to partner with Kansas Wheat in moving wheat forward. Kansas Wheat Commission and Kansas Association of Wheat Growers. Farmers investing in their future and yours. Log on to rediscoverwheat.org.
This segment brought to you by Sure Crop, liquid crop nutrition delivered right to your farm.
Rising demand for premium beef is the silver lining in a cattle market that can disappoint in the near term.
Markets are not where they were the last year or two. They came down a little bit. Supplies have been very big. We're reaching kind of our peak in supplies. We've expanded over the last few years, so we're finally getting to kind of peak expansion years. So supplies are starting to weigh on us. Feed yards are losing some money, and that's filtering back to feeder cattle and calves as well. We think prices probably average a couple bucks cheaper next year than they have this year. Right now we've been kind of saying highs next year around 125, lows around 95.
Those are base prices for finished cattle. There's more money out there in market premiums for higher quality.
Choice select spread right now historically would be about $8 or $9. Right now it's $23, $24. So that's about $15 per hundred of carcass weight you gain from producing a choice carcass rather than select. Then there's another $30, $40 premium prime over choice on top of that per hundredweight. So hundreds of dollars in the system if you can mine that.
Record-wide spreads reflect the growing preference for better beef here and abroad. Indirectly, at least, that might include China.
As China looks for more protein to displace the pork that they've lost through African swine fever, they're going to have to look at everywhere and all kinds of proteins, including the U.S. China still has us blocked from beef. And until they change the rules, then it'll be because other proteins are going up in prices, or the rest of the world sending beef to China, we can send beef to other places that's been displaced. So, if China makes it kind of a fair playing field, then those borders open, then we can go in the front door, and that would be a big deal for us.
Meanwhile, here in the States especially, only premium quality will keep consumers coming back.
People have the money to spend on quality beef, and that's what they're doing. So Choice and Prime is doing well. We just can't sell our select product right now. People want the higher quality eating experience.
To beat the average price, producers might need to own their calves longer, find out what they're producing, and move away from select.
Prices probably won't go up a lot in the next year or two. Do what you can. Look at retaining ownership, especially for Angus producers that are producing quality beef that will grade Choice or better. Continue to gather data, be able to use that data in the marketplace, because that's how we're becoming more data-driven all the time, and we can use that.
While ranchers keep improving cattle, consumers will keep enjoying the result and rewarding ranchers. I'm Bob Cervera.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com. Watch Ag AM in Kansas online at agamandkansas.com.